Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And what we're going to take a look at in this video is the Teltonika Networks RUT300 router. Could this be the perfect router? It's going to be pretty close. Now, I will tell you, I did buy this myself, and I just like it. So it's like if you were ever into like car audio equipment, you know, it's that machined aluminum case. This thing can withstand, extreme heat, extreme cold. The Achilles heel of this particular model is that it only has 100 meg interfaces. But when I was looking around for a router, so kind of a backstory to this, one of our another company that we compete against, they designed a farm network for somebody, but we get a call from this person, and they want to redesign the way that their farm works, and they want to optimize the wireless for use on UTVs and ATVs, and then they even want some of the UTVs to have private networks when they're out working and things like that. So we are completely redesigning, and you're going to see videos on this where it basically the UTV, no matter where you're at, or the ATV on the property, you don't lose Wi-Fi, right? So that is the main point. And then being able to have separate networks out in the field that feed back into that. And so I was like, okay, we could use an edge router. And then I started looking around, and I found this RUT300. It does only have 100 megabit interfaces, and I know that that's the main thing that people are really going to complain about. But there is a device made by Teltonika that has gigabit interfaces, so we'll take a look at that. But I wanted to show you this router because I absolutely like where they're going with this. So when you get the router, you got to put the right password in. But on the back, there's a sticker right here. It's got the default password, so they're all different. It does use like a DC type power connector that snaps in. Got a USB back here, reset button, and then I've got a port that's labeled WAN, and then we've got 4 LANs. Now, you'll see that that doesn't really matter because we can actually reconfigure these interfaces. Now, what we're looking at here, this is RUTOS. And this is a customized version of OpenWRT, and I am so blown away with how clean this is. There's a basic configuration and an advanced configuration, and so you'll see that some things get hidden. Like when we go to advanced, you can see the routing. So when you first log in, it gives you this beautiful interface that tells you all kinds of things like recent events, recent system events. That was network, our WAN, our LAN, a quick overview, and I can rearrange these so I can move these around. This is beautiful. Now, they also have their own remote management system that you can connect to. It's RMS. I don't have that set up yet. I actually, on the 10th of November, have a call with Teltonika to see if we can forge some sort of partnership relationship. But let's take a look around. So we've got our overview. You've got the system overview here. It tells you the firmware version. And if I view the settings, I can come out here. It'll go out to Teltonika and see if, and I installed the newest firmware already. I did that. You can also upload the file if you have it downloaded. Let's go back to status here. Gives us all the information we need to know about the router right there. We've got our LAN overview. We've got our firewall overview. And it does support IP version 4 and IP version 6. And you get a ton of information. They've done a really good job putting a good interface on this. And then it even has a topology view. So they do sell switches. I have an unmanaged gigabit switch right here. It's the TSW 110. I'll leave affiliate links for both of these. Hoping to get my hands on, they actually now have managed switches, but I can't find them. And so I'm hoping when I talk to them that I'm going to be able to get one of their managed switches. I was looking at the guide online, and I mean, it supports everything we want. It's a gigabit managed switch, but it's in this format. I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to throw this out on UTV and put it in the weather and see how it performs. We've got services here. So you've got RMS is enabled, but look at all this other stuff. You've got a ping reboot, right? So if we change the settings on that, what we can do is if it fails to ping 8.8.8, it can reboot. It can reboot the router, right? Oh, I want to go back to status here. Services, reboot scheduler, input output juggler, input output post get. So you can start doing some programmatic things with this. Open VPN. This is all, I didn't add any packages to this. This is all out of the box. Open VPN, GRE, IPsec, PPTP, WireGuard, L2TP, Modbus, TCP over serial. So Teltonika's bread and butter is kind of industrial control systems. So you're going to see that theme kind of woven in and out of everything that they do. Data to server, events reporting, print server, memory expansion. Then we've got real-time data here, real-time graphs. So the load. We've got a real-time traffic, inbound, outbound. So that's the LAN. Here's the WAN. They've done a fantastic job with this. And here's our connections. All right, so then we go to network. So now we've got our WAN, and there are, you can have multiple WANs, and you can do failover. Here's our LAN. And you might be saying, well, where's the VLANs? Well, if I click advanced, now I get a VLAN tab. So let's do the basic, and then we'll do the advanced. So here's our LAN information. We can come in here, edit this. We can change the DHCP server. And you can see use WAN port as LAN. So we're going to discard those changes. Then we got failover. If we set up multi-WAN, we can do failover. We got port forwarding. I mean, so easy to use. Got some attack prevention. We've got DMZ. Under ports, we can do port mirroring. And then we have our, if we do static leases, we can see that here. So let's switch over to advanced. And we'll see that we get DNS configuration. So we can do forwardings, listening interfaces. We can change the size of our cache. Then we do get routing. So we can do static routes here. Here we can do our policy-based routing. Now, this is not necessarily dynamic routing, but we're going to get to that. Under VLAN, we can do port-based VLANs, or we can do interface based VLANs, and you can see that I've been tinkering around with setting up VLAN 2, and it supports 802.1AD or 802.1Q. Of course, we're going to use Q once that goes live. It can do Q and Q, which is typically used for service provider things to pass VLANs through VLANs. Gets kind of crazy sometimes. Then now under the firewall, we've got our zone configurations down here. Routing and NAT offloading. Port forwarding is still going to be the same. We've got our traffic rules. So we can really get in here if we go to advanced, and we can really start, like here's our source NAT rules. Attack prevention gets a little bit better. Here's custom firewall rules. So anything you can do with IP tables, you can now copy and paste right into the firewall. It's fantastic. And then, of course, our DMZ is still kind of the same there. Let's see. Then under services, we've got cloud solutions, which is RMS. Then for VPN, let me go back to basic. So now under services, we've got the cloud solutions, the VPN. So you can see by default out of the box, we're supporting WireGuard, PPTP, L2TP, L2TP version 3, OpenVPN. You can be a server or a client, IPsec, serial. So you can do serial over IP with these. You've got input output. So you've got your status, because when you look at the power block, so 1 and 2 are your power and your ground on this. And then you can actually do configurable outputs with pin number 3 and pin number 4. Yeah, you can't do that with any of our other routers, can you? You've got your I/O juggler, and I'm trying to figure out if this is something that I've dealt with, excuse me, before. Here's your post get, things that you can do. So if you're familiar with access and being able to post and trigger things, that's kind of what's going to happen here. We've got our scheduler. Then under USB tools, we've got general, we've got printer server. Here's our event reporting. Let's switch over to advanced. So now we get the Modbus TCP over serial gateway configuration. What else do we get? Everything gets a little bit more complicated when you turn that advanced tab on. But I mean, talk about being able to just completely have control over your router. And like I said, this is based on OpenWRT, but they've done a fantastic job. So under administration, we've got general settings. We can change the device name, the host name. We can turn the LEDs on and off. We can change what the reset button does, right? So if we wanted to disable factory defaulting, we could turn that off. Just don't let them do it. Reboot, we could do a user's default configuration. So if you have a default configuration you're loading on these and something happens, you can tell somebody, hey, hold the thing for 11 seconds. It's going to restore it the way you sent it, right? With that user default configuration. Just got our time and date. So you can do NTP, or you can sync with an NTP server or the web browser, and it can be an NTP server. Here's our user settings. So I'm logged in as admin, but you can come in, add other admins, which is best practice. You've got access control for SSH, for the web UI. Telnet is turned off. Bravo, Teltonika, by turning Telnet off by default. Got your security over here. So it's got, looks like it's got fail to ban in it, which is fantastic. Then we can set up email accounts, probably, I'm assuming at some point, for notification. We've got our CA, Certificate Authority, built in. Here's the configuration profiles we were talking about earlier, and then you can do storage expansion. So this one only lets us do USB. Then under maintenance, we've got auto reboot. We can back up our config, restore our config, create that default configuration. Our troubleshooting screen here is going to let us send things to a log server. And then we've got diagnostics, so everything that you're used to in most routers there, ping and traceroute. Here's our event log. I mean, this thing's $80. I'm going to leave a link to it. Like I said, the Achilles heel to this model, for those of you who are watching, is probably going to be those 100 meg interfaces. But for what I'm using it for, it's going to be perfect. But once I can get my hands on the Gigabit one, here we can do custom scripts. Back here, you saw that CLI right through the web browser here. Here's where it gets even better. Package manager. So I've got 25, there's 75 available packages that we can install. And some of these just came out with the latest operating system, but like 7-zip format archiver, APN database for the web UI, Azure IoT hub. You can join these to Azure. BGP, so we can do BGP routing with these devices by installing the BGP daemon. You get Cloud of Things, Dynamic DNS, DLNA, DMVPN, EIGRP, so you can run EIGRP. So yes, you can do dynamic routing with this. Email relay, German language support, hotspot, and then it's got all these different hotspot themes, IGM proxy, IP table filter extensions. Let's see, Japanese language, Java VM, Modbus server and client, MQTT, network shares, NHRP, NTPD, OPC. Some of these things off the top of my head, I'm not sure what they are. QoS, RIP, SNMP, speed test, SQM, SSTP, S-tunnel, TCP dump. ThingWorks, Tink VPN, so you can do Tink, TR069, traffic logging, UDP broadcast relay, universal plug and play, VRRP. So yes, you can install these in pairs and have virtual router redundancy protocol running. Wake on LAN, web filter, and zero tier. So you can add all kinds of packages to this. You can upload them too. There's the firmware screen. It's got a setup wizard that I went through. Here's our licensing, and then we can reboot. I don't want to reboot, but I do want to go to advanced and go to system. So do we get anything new? Could get something new on some screens. Firmware. But I mean, you can see just how powerful this is, using RUTOS. And I'm going to do some setup videos on this because you're going to get to see us as we design the wireless network. And you're going to see that dynamic routing is going to be very important for what we're doing. So let me know what you want to see me do with this, with the RUTOS routers. Real quick, what I'm going to do is we're going to hop over and we're going to take a look at the one with the gigabit interfaces. So the RUT-X08 has 4 gigabit Ethernet ports. So you can dig through kind of their models here, and you can find the ones that have gigabit. So this is a rack mounted one, the RUT-XR1, and you can see how big this thing is. So you can rack mount it. It's got all gigabit ports. It also has, the cellular built into it. So then I found out they've got an uninterruptible power supply for these little devices. So when you look at this thing, and it's made out of that same machined aluminum, I think they're doing great things. I just happened to stumble on them, and then I posted some pictures and stuff, and people were like, no, we've been using this for a while. So, really where I'm seeing people use them is their cellular gateways. So if you're using Teltonika, let me know how you're using it down in the comments. If you're as excited about this as I am, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below. I'm so excited about this router. I'm forgetting my closing lines. If you'd like to support the channel, I am leaving affiliate links for both of these pieces of gear that you can buy on Amazon. I haven't found the other ones yet. That's going to be part of my conversation with Teltonika. So you can buy these. You don't feel like you have to use the affiliate link. It is appreciated because it does kick some funding to the channel. We also have a Patreon. If you need IT consulting, if you're going to get into this and you want to design your networks around this, or if you've got a network that someone designed for you a few years ago and you want somebody to go through it and see if it can be tweaked or cleaned up, or if you need anything security, voice over IP, or storage related, networking, all those things, reach out at williehowe.com. Fill out the contact form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. If we can't help you, we'll get you to someone who can. That's our promise to you. Once again, I'm Willie. I am so excited about getting into the ecosystem of Teltonika. It's not even funny. So I'm going to continue to configure this router and create these videos, and we're going to pair this with a Grand Stream Layer 3 switch. But I hope you'll come back, because as always, I'll see you in the next video.